All right, guys. Welcome to another episode of Beantown Banter, bullshit, boxing, all the above. We're going to discuss violence for the next hour or so. Me, AJ Rivera. That's it tonight, guys. That's all you need. We want to thank our sponsors, Sharon's Boxing, Rivera Promotions Entertainment, Remodel Works, Emily's Interiors, and Platts Landscaping. Without you guys, we couldn't be here tonight. And obviously, without you guys, the viewers, we also wouldn't be here. But thank you again, and thanks for tuning in. It's going to be a good one today.
I told you he was a ouch, what you do that for kind of guy.
I mean, nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. So, guys, here we are, AJ. AJ, it's nice to see you relaxed, man. I know last time we spoke, it was around showtime. Looked like you're kicking back. Looked like you had some time to decompress. But smash that show, man. Springfield was a blast.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would say it was a good couple of days, but then we got locked into this next show, July 15th. So in all reality, it was like right back to work. But
yeah,
this sport is one of those. I mean, if you genuinely don't love it, you would have probably fucking never. You would have did one show. You would have did one show and then never did it again.
So. Jesus, everything looked good from my point of view. I mean, you can't get much closer than where I was at.
Yeah, no, it was definitely great. It was awesome for the change of scenery. It was awesome the feedback we got. It was awesome to be at AIC College. Super thankful for opening their doors. First ever show they did like that.
Phenomenal venue. Everything, enough space. Everything was, you could see from everywhere.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was a great experience. It was nice too. You know, we've done most of our shows in Worcester. We did Webster, December, Springfield. So now we're moving outwards. It was nice. It was definitely nice. It was good to see the college guys there, and we'll go back.
Yeah,
we'll definitely go back. You know, there wasn't a bad seat in the house. Even if you had general admission, you were right there.
Yep, phenomenal everywhere. So I got to ask you about this. Now it's only because through the basketball season, I witnessed a man pass away in the crowd, right? And no one really talked about it. He had a heart attack or whatever, and the game stopped. The teams went back in the locker rooms, right? Somebody that night the rumor at that point was that they had a heart attack or whatever. I don't know if that proved to be true, but how did you deal with that? Like being.
So I was in the ring, I believe, when that happened. And when somebody in the crowd, so I guess people in the crowd were already attending to him, but the EMTs were next to me because they were getting ready for the next fight coming out.
Yep.
So somebody had gotten my attention. I noticed what was going on. I looked right at those two EMTs and I was like, hey, like that way.
Yeah.
You know, it's unfortunate. You never want to see anything like that happen. The gentleman was heavier set. Not sure. I mean, the ruling at the time was he was having a heart attack. Some people in the stands had told me they had seen him outside. Maybe he looked intoxicated. You know, we don't know, but they handled it great. Everything went on. Show went on fine. People barely noticed.
I mean, I feel for you because at that point, that's the last thing you need, man.
Oh yeah.
You must be like, come on.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, in a new venue, in a new setting, if I had to choose between that and a crowd fight, I would choose that. Because that's a medical, that could happen at a concert.
Right.
You know, that's beyond anyone's control. You know, you had a heavier set individual there. I don't know if it was too much body heat, too much things going on. Who knows what happened, what triggered it.
Right.
But in a way, you kind of much would rather have that happen than a crowd fight where like now the venue you're working with, it's like, and you bring too much trouble.
Right. Of course, yeah. and no chaos. Chaos is not good in any setting like that.
Who can? How many people can say that they put that many people in a Springfield setting with no incidents?
Also true. So July 15th, we're coming back home. I dig it.
Yes, indeed.
I dig it. Another phenomenal. And I gotta say, man, at some point we were gonna discuss why nobody's like taking hard fights or what's going on. And here you come, Ken Ball coming through against 18-0, 16-0.
Yeah. No. So we've done. Let's see. I'm looking here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've done 11 shows total. This will be our 12th. This is the 10th New England Futures because 2 of the shows. So we've done 12 shows total. This will be our 10th New England's Future because 2 of them were, one was Homecoming and one was Quest for 50, which were 2 shows my dad came out of retirement for. So for this show, my dad was stressing like, in this Future 10, we got to go bigger. And for the most part, the guys I deal with, they're brave. They're brave. They're willing to take the fights. They want to prove themselves. Some guys not so much. But with Ken has been, it's if you really look at the kid's resume, it's not a perfect resume, but the kid's been no stranger to challenges.
Yeah.
Early in his career, he signed a short-term deal with his promoter as opposed to a long-term deal. So the promoter was putting him in big fights right away. I mean, I think he was 2-0 when he fought a 5-0. So he's got like 5-6 undefeated guys on his resume, So when it came out, I know I had been talking to Angel for a little bit. I knew he was interested in getting back in the ring. And it just worked out. Angel was interested in the fight. Ken was interested in the fight, and then we made it happen. And hats off to both of them,
Yeah, I love it.
Angel risking his undefeated record. He was one of the top super middleweights in all of New England for years, He had a little suspension that kept him out of the ring for a little bit. Non-boxing related, outside the ring stuff. Undefeated cat though. Slick boxer. He can box. He can punch. He can brawl. He's kind of a well-skilled individual. And hats off to him for risking his record, and then much respect to Kendrick and his team for being first ones up. Like, yeah, we'll take this.
Love it. Absolutely love it, man.
What better way for a main event, though? That's the ultimate main event. You could have some tough undercard fights, but when the main event is legit as it can get, I mean, you're in for a treat, and if you're not there, you're really missing out.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And it's what there's something really at stake. Both of them have something to lose. You know what I mean?
Oh, usually, 100%.
It's somebody's gonna 100%. Lose.
Put it this way. Winner of this fight will be in like that top 10, top 20 conversation and in the debate. Like, winner of this fight will be next up for like what we're gonna experience with Jermaine tomorrow.
Jermaine going. He's fighting really close.
Also, don't get it twisted. Loser of this fight, depending how they lose. If you get blasted in the first round, obviously it's going to be a little bit harder. But loser of this fight doesn't go back to rock bottom either, because of the caliber opponent they're fighting. You lose to a bum, it's like, now you're at rock bottom. But because of the caliber, loser of this fight doesn't end up in the shit end of the stick either. They could still be in line for something big down the road.
If there's one fight in Springfield that I want to see again, it's Onwell and that Italian guy that you created out of nowhere. I don't know who that guy is, but he's about as close to the real life Rocky as you can get. I don't know if you can knock that guy out. I don't know.
So I always tell people like, I'm not taught this boxing game. I'm born and raised into this boxing game. And I really understand that styles make fights.
Yeah.
So despite the records, like, I could find a 1-10 guy and a 10-1 guy and put them to fight each other. And people might be like, oh, this is a joke. No, because of their styles, this 1-10 guy might beat this 10-1 guy.
Yep.
So it was great. I mean, Anwell's a killer. Anwell is a killer. He's been inactive. He's still knocking ring rust off. But he's taking the proper steps. Like, so he went the distance with a tough Stacey Anderson at 154. Mind you, he's a 135 fighter.
Yep.
Then he goes down to 140. The opponent, the Italian guy, came in 3 pounds overweight, so he weighed 143. And he dogged it. He still dogged it. He still handled his own. He still does what Anwell does. And he shows he belongs. He's a young kid fighting vets. These guys all have more fights than him. He's what? Anwell's 4-0 now?
Anwell's knocking a bunch of other people out with the punches that he was landing. That guy he was eating them.
Especially at his division. Mind you, we've moved him down back to his division slowly because he's had a 3-year layoff. So, he had the 154 fight, then he had the 140 fight. Now, this fight, he'll be 35. So, he'll be back at his division, And he's got a tough fight coming up, too. He's fighting a tough Mexican guy who's, you know how those Puerto Rican Mexican rivalries go.
Yeah. Oh, man. Love it. Who's Oscar fighting?
So Oscar, we're still up in the air. I've got a few guys listed. We're still up in the air with his opponent. I got a guy listed as as a backup. It's not his for sure guy. I just have him there because he's almost like, all right, if everything else falls through, I'll be the guy. But Oscar's another one, man. Oscar is fought. The last guy he fought has been in the ring with Devin Haney, has been in the ring with top guys. He was actually part of Floyd Mayweather's money team. He was not Floyd's fighter. He was Floyd's uncle's fighter, Roger.
Yep.
So, Oscar takes tough fights, and those styles, Anwell style, Oscar style, they're going to always make for entertaining fights because of their styles.
Right. Oscar was good in Springfield, too. Phenomenal. That was
yeah. I mean, a lot of people sleep. That was a very slick, seasoned southpaw. That guy had over 50 pro fights.
That was a good fight to witness up close, I'll tell you.
It was nice. It was nice. It was nice. It was a beautiful moment in my matchmaking career. Everything Oscar's been through in his pro career, everything Oscar's been through with his family and the little brother, and just to see that moment where he brings home that belt for his brother, who passed away, and just the tears of joy for his father felt that night. And at the end of the day, like, whether he wins a world championship or not, he still gets to say, I was a New England champion at 140 pounds, and that's more than what most people can say.
And he's doing this. That happened with his brother. It hasn't even been a year.
Actually, this July 15th show will mark the anniversary.
It's crazy.
So I expect for there to be even more emotion. Like, the December show, there was a lot of emotion because it was the first time he was in the ring since his brother passed. And then this last show, there was a lot of emotion because it was his first belt fight. And then I expect this fight to be even more because it will mark the anniversary of his brother. So
that's cool as hell. It'd be a special night. I know that. His
I actually expect him. And what I like too is, I like that his first comeback fight, he went the rounds. He went 4 rounds. And then in this last April show, he he went all 6 rounds. So the ring rust is off for him. You know, there's no ring rust there. He did the 4, he did the 6, he went the distance in both, won in dominating fashion in both fights. But now the ring rust is off, and I expect him to just get better and better with every fight. He's got a relentless style, man. That's hard to deal with. I mean, first of all, nobody likes to get hit in the body, and this dude just fucking kills the body. He kills the body, kills it. But like, he got hit with a couple clean shots against the slick southpaw on the last show, and he like it literally looks like he's just not bothered by it. He's like,
yep.
You gotta like, I've already felt what pain feels like, and then an unimaginable kind of pain that this shit is nothing. This is breakfast. Oh, I ate that. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, I ate that. Boom, boom, boom. Like, I don't know. He was beautiful that last fight.
Yep, no doubt, man. The Whitleys, they showed out. Both the Whitleys showed out.
I just have to give flowers where they're due. And I want to say locally and on like a national level. Derek gave the most beautiful pure boxing performance I have seen in a very long time. And I'm passionate about that. Like, definitely on a local level, I've never seen anyone give a boxing lesson the way he did. And even on a TV level, I mean, the last time I seen a boxing lesson like that was probably like Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather. Like when Andre Ward fought Kovalev the second time, and when Floyd fought Canelo or something. Like, it's been a while. Like a pure boxing lesson, because that dude, people sleep. That dude had just knocked out a 2-0 guy at 160 pounds the fight before.
Yeah.
And here he is making 145 pounds fighting Derek. And Derek just was boo, 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 get out the way. Like, Derek barely got touched. And it's crazy because Derek was like, after the fight, like, yo, that dude was strong as fuck. Like, that dude was strong as shit.
Another great fight. And you know what's great about it is, so Denzel, who I met on this show when you brought him on, then in Framingham we hung out. He's the nicest dude you're ever going to meet, right? Yep. Like, we clicked. As soon as I get there, he said, what up, man, what up? So he came out and watched the fight with us at the table when Derek was fighting.
Oh, he was sitting with you at the table?
Oh, yeah. So
that's dope.
So you know that I've been under the weather. I've been working on these videos when I get a chance. That's the next one I'm going to do, right? You would not believe, like, it's emotional. Denzel was coaching him from the table, and they were making eye contact while he was fighting. So he's paying attention. And, dude, Denzel was, like, exact. Like, the way exactly what he was telling him to do. It's right. He's right. He's basically commentating the video. Like, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to put that one out there.
It's funny because Derek was telling me, like, yeah, there was a couple times where, like, my family was yelling at me after the fight, because there was a couple times where Derek was boxing, like, gorgeous.
Yeah.
But there was a couple times where Derek stopped boxing and started digging in this guy's ass. Like, digging in this guy. Like, Derek started banging on him, pop, 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 using gorgeous speed combinations. But everyone knows how strong this guy is. And, like, one punch, that left hook, he's got that, like, signature left hook, you're done. And I guess he got yelled at by, so I'm going to assume Denzel. Now it's making sense that you said Denzel was commentating. I'm going to assume that after the fight, it was Denzel that was probably yelling at him, like, what the fuck are you doing? Or,
I have it recorded in my head. Like, the way I was paying attention, I always do that when I hear the coaches. The other one that really comes to mind is that dude Cash's Chain. His coach was one of the best I've ever seen at that Palladium show, like, yelling. And I was like, wow, he's really listening, like, you know? Yep. So when I recognized it there, I was like, wow. And Derek was really, Derek was doing his thing, but you could tell he was paying attention. Every round he was in the corner, I told
Derek after that fight, like, you might have found your niche. Like you might try to be this brawler or this this fighter. Like, Denzel's a good brawler, strong fighter. But I think you found your niche. I think you're not that brawler. I think you're a boxer. I think you're a pure boxer.
He's
if
good.
You fight like that, especially being a southpaw, dude, you're gonna be like who in New England at that weight class can fuck with him if he fights like that?
Yeah.
If he fights like that pure touch, like 3-4 punch combinations, he was spinning him, he was ducking, he was weaving, it was crazy.
Denzel was yelling, bro. I was trying to think. That's exactly what he was yelling. Turn him around, turn him around, turn him around.
Angle, turn him, and that's exactly what they're and it was just I was glued. I was like, because obviously I was fearful of the power, and I know Derek. Some guys, it takes a very disciplined fighter to fight in front of your home crowd. It's one thing to fight in front of a crowd, but when it's your home crowd, you want to win, and you want to win in dominating fashion. And sometimes guys get lost in the sauce, all the screams, all the chants, and they're like, fuck it, I want to knock this guy out. Yeah. But it took a level of discipline for Derek to stick to the game plan and just do his damn thing. Like that, that was gorgeous, man. That was a gorgeous boxing performance. Like pure technique.
That's one of the only fights that I got round by round every single round, because the other ones I had to go live for a couple of them and try to get them off my Facebook Live and everything. But that one I took every single round. I can't wait to put it together. It was a great fight to watch. Period. Like.
And then I think for me what kept it super entertaining was the other kid, no matter how many punches he got hit with, just kept coming forward. Like he just kept like dogging, and like you could tell he was just missing by like this much. But if those punches land, we have a totally different fight. So that's why I knew where the Whitley camp's frustration was coming when Derek started trying to bang with him.
Yeah.
Like, no. Get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Roland for a 3-year layoff. He looked sharp.
Yeah.
He looked fast. He looked strong. Matter of fact, Roland. So I knew Derek to be a fighter, and I knew Denzel to be a fighter. But I knew Roland to be the boxer. And it's funny because Derek and Roland switched. Derek was content on just boxing this guy's shoes off, and Roland was like dogging his opponent. And that just threw me by surprise because I thought Roland was gonna, be the runner, the boxer, the hit and move. And Roland just looked, sharp as fuck.
Yep. Roland was real good. The Willies come through, man, like as advertised. So
yeah.
Now I don't know how many losses that our guys have taken. Anybody that we've had on the show, right? I gotta say, one of the best fights of the night was Augustine. That was a brawl, and even in a loss, that dude is a warrior. Like he didn't want to.
What's crazy about that? So I saw him and I talked to him. I actually yelled at him after the fight, and I said, "Look me in my face and tell me you trained for this fight." I have a close relationship with him, so I was like, "Look me in my face and tell me you trained for this fight." And he looked down. He said, "You didn't, right?" And he looked down, and I'm like, "This wasn't you. Look how good of a fight this was, and you didn't even fucking train for this shit. I know you didn't train for this because I watched you in full condition go 8 rounds against one of the best featherweights in this whole region." He fought Matt Remillard in this, and who has his only loss to date is against Mikey Garcia, who is a world champion. And Augustine fought 8 close, hard rounds with him, warrior style. So, and then he was like, "Yeah, I just had a lot going on. I had this issue, that issue." And I was like, I knew it. You just came in a 4-round fight, dogged it out, and didn't even train. Imagine how much better or how much the possibility increases of you even winning this fight if you trained.
That's crazy.
He didn't train.
That's insane.
He was just going through too much that he didn't have time. He's got a new kid. He had just gotten out from some legal issues, and he was just, he had a lot going on. And, I respect it. I respect the honesty and everything. And I was just trying to tell him, like, bro, 4-round fight, you just dogged it out with a dude who's a dog, and you lasted. You didn't go down. The referee just stopped it because you got gashed.
Yeah.
In the 4th round.
There's a lot of blood. He was still going. He was definitely still going. So maybe he sees the light now and it's like, man, I can make some noise. I want to see him again. I know anyone that probably watched that fight.
I saw him. Actually, I talked to him today in person. He said, I'm not going to waste your time. I still right now have a lot going on. I'm moving to a whole nother state. He lives in New Hampshire. He's moving back to Massachusetts, back to Lawrence. So he's in the process of that, and new job and just certain things going on that he can't fully focus on boxing. So this July show, he'll probably miss, but he'll be back for what's after that.
I know. I definitely want to see him.
He's a dog.
Yeah.
He's a dog.
We got the return of TG coming.
TG.
Love it.
Yo, you know what I found out today? And I think it's rather scary. He's only 24.
Oh, yeah.
I thought TG was older. I thought he was like between 26 and 28. He's only 24.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have his grown man body yet.
Oh my God.
Do you know how scary and disgusting that's gonna be when he hits like his peak muscle mass, his peak testosterone levels, his peak just grown between 26 and 28? How disgusting that's gonna be. That's scary.
Yep. He's another one too, man. He didn't
and I was talking to his manager today, and he's gonna probably be in tough, because he might fight in that $1 million celebrity TV show.
Yep.
So he's gotta prove himself, and I respect it. I love the management team. Shout out to Chuck Sherns. He's the manager of TG. I mean, TG, if you look at his resume, he's like old school boxing. Like, you don't see guys fighting for, like, if you look at his box right now, I think he's got like 3 fights booked before the end of the summer's even up.
Yep.
That's old school shit. You don't see guys fighting that many times in a year. I mean, this dude is active, he's busy, and that's a good team behind him. Good trainer that's keeping him in shape. Good dedication by TG for staying in shape.
Yeah. And
great management by Chuck doing his thing with his guy,
Shout to Derek Santos, legendary coach. But man, TG from the jump, and you can just tell the work ethic, man. And you can tell.
For me, the first thing, so I have crossed paths with TG because he used to train at Camp Get Right in Worcester. I've crossed paths with him, never formally like met and talked with him, and never got to see him fight. But my first impression of him was he fights like a vet. And he fights like a vet early in his career. And what I mean by that is usually early in guys' career, because they still have the amateur scoring system in their head, they're pity-patting, they're throwing flurries, they're headhunting because body shots were not scored in the amateurs. But my first TG fight, he was in the same combination, going low, high, back low, back high. Like the way he mixes fluidly, like it's smooth, his head and body, body and head combinations, it's very veteran-like because a lot of guys don't learn that until later on in their career. So that stuck with me. The first time I saw him, I was like, oh, this dude fights like a vet. Like he knows what he's doing, And ever since then, I was like, you know what? If this kid stays in the gym, he's gonna go. He's gonna go to places.
He he had to grow up. He had to grow up real early in life, and I think that has to do with it too. He knows the people that he trusts right now around him to shape him, teaching him the right way.
Everyone sees the one-on-one in the ring, so they think boxing is a lonely sport, which in a sense it is, but it's a team that makes or breaks you.
Yep.
From the trainer to the strength conditioning to the guy who's wrapping your hands to the manager, it's a team effort, and he's got a good team.
No doubt.
He's got a good team, and he's got great dedication. I saw a comment today on Facebook. Actually, somebody had said, which state or which region or which country promotes or produces the best boxers? A lot of people are leaving their comments, whatever. And then this one comment stuck out to me, and it said, poverty. And for me, what that meant necessarily, like, because I agreed with it, it's not necessarily being poor. I feel like sometimes it's just a fucked up upbringing or not a great upbringing that breeds. And like you said, he went through a lot when he was younger, and that's shaped him. You know, he's found his safe haven. Boxing has kept him out the streets. It's his safe haven. It's where he's comfortable. It's what he loves. It's probably the first thing in his life that he's ever committed to.
And I'll tell you, it's all about decision making. And he's had options to take the wrong path a few different times. And to this point, he's making great decisions. Yep.
All of us, as you know, I work in the law field and stuff, and it's super sad to see. Literally, like one 1 second decision changed the whole criteria of somebody's life on both sides.
Yep.
On the victim and the person who did it. Yep. 1 second decision. It's so nuts to me. And it makes you think about like all the things that maybe you never got caught for.
Yep.
Like, damn, I could have been in that kid's shoes, or damn, like, Yep. I saw 3 college kids with no record. 3 college kids, no record, grew up Framingham, Somerville area, get pulled over in a town that wasn't their town. And they had, it was like a pound of weed, and they had a gun in the car. All 3 college kids are probably going to get suspended from college. All of them are going to have records. All of them are on probation. One of them is still locked up. He's got to serve 3 months. The other 2 are just on probation. But it's just crazy because it's like, how many of us, either, if not us personally or people we know that have been in those predicaments that maybe got away with it?
Yep. Yep.
Those were probably some really good kids that just got caught at the wrong place at the wrong time. So, it's, for me, I love seeing fighters that live the sport.
Yeah.
Because when you live it, that's when you get the Floyds, that's when you get the Andre Wards, that's when you get the Canelos. When you just do the sport, that's when you get the Adrian Broners. And what I mean by that is Adrian Broner is one of the most, if you know boxing, one of the most pure, talented, easily could be a Hall of Famer fighters out there. But he wasn't living the sport. He was doing the sport. He would train when he had fights coming up, but he would be blowing up, drinking, partying, fighting in the streets, getting locked up, not really mind, body, and soul not connected,
Yeah.
And those guys become wasted talents.
What's sad is it sells. So those dudes at those points and making some of those decisions are thinking there's no bad publicity, but in the end, when all the smoke clears, that's when it turns out to be a bad decision, But I think Adrian Broner is a victim of that, the TMZ era. Because actually there is no bad publicity when you're at that peak of your game. But,
so luckily for him, he created a persona where, like, he could come out and fight you tomorrow and would still make $1 million. You might not, but he will.
I'm not
because
getting
people
in for
are,
less.
but people are just want to see him, you know?
Right.
So luckily for him, that part worked out. But I mean, what's $1 million to the? What's $1 million to the? I think it was like an $8 million contract that Rock Nation offered you. Like $8 million contract. That's not even like including your purses for the fights, you know?
Yep.
Or what you would have gotten for TV deals and shit like that. So it's like, I mean, Adrian was a bad boy. That was a bad boy at one point in time. That was a really bad boy. Like speed, power. It was when he started blowing up in weight, started fighting at weight classes. So like, guys will learn quick. Like, you know, this guy got knockout power at 130. As soon as he's at 147, he's just average.
Yeah.
And now he got to start using his skill. That happened with Floyd. You know, Floyd was stopping a lot of guys early in his career at 130 and 35. Once 140, 47 came, Floyd became that boring one hit, make you miss, one hit, make you miss fighter, you know? But it's because he didn't have that same kind of pop at that. Everyone's got that kind of pop at that weight class, you know? Especially that he's not a natural 147. You got guys who turn pro and fight at 147. Floyd moved eventually up to 147.
I love it after the Canelo fight. Here comes AJ with I can't believe people are entertaining him fighting.
No, I'm just a realist. So my thing is, yes, is Canelo a great fighter, and do I have more respect for him? Absolutely. You know why? Because for me, that move was an old school, I'm chasing to be great move. People have got this fucked up delusion of this sport. Stop hating on guys that fucking lose. One loss,
right.
2 losses is not it's not a fucking big deal.
Right.
Like, suck off on one if you think it is. Floyd Mayweather got away with doing what he did was because early in his career, he fought dogs. When he became the big guy that he is, he started fighting guys not in their prime or before they hit their prime. He was picking and choosing because he could do so. You know, if I got a choice to fight you for 50 million or fight Tyson Fury for 50 million, who am I gonna pick?
Yeah.
It's just
Tyson
it is
Fury,
what it
probably.
is. It's just but it is what it is, and it's not a knock on any person or any fighter, but it's just common sense. You know, I can't, as a sports fan, as a boxing enthusiast, I hate it because I grew up in the generation where no nuts, no glory. That's just what it is. But at the same time, I also come from a fighting family, and I see that this boxing shit doesn't always pan out. You could put blood, sweat, and tears into the sport and still end up with shit.
Yeah.
You know, same with the Whitley family. Their dads were fighters and uncles were fighters and stuff. You know, so they dealt with the same thing. You know, it doesn't always pan out. You don't always get to be a Floyd or a Pacquiao. You know, so looking at it now on a business level, like, I mean, shit, can I really knock Floyd for fucking fighting Conor McGregor for $300 million instead of fighting Triple G for $300 million? I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
you know?
I get it.
And so with that being said, like with these kind of fights, like Canelo, I wasn't a fan of because he started taking the Mayweather route. You know, who's Rocky Fielding? Who's Liam Smith? Who's Paul Smith? Who's these random ass scrubs that you were fighting? Yeah. You know, when at 154 you had Boo Boo, you had a very crazy tough fight with Lara. You know, you got the younger Charlo. And then when you moved up to 160, you still had Comp. You know, you still had the other Charlo there. You still had, you know, Boo Boo eventually moved to 160. You still had guys you could be fighting. So I wasn't a fan of Canelo. And then obviously he got with the cheating scandal and whatever. But a lot of people don't realize, just because you're on TV and just because you're a household name, matter of fact, my cousin is a United States Marine. and he FaceTimed me at his barracks. So it was him with probably 6 other Marines were with him. And they were talking about betting and who they should put their money on and da-da-da-da. And I told them, I said, realistically, I said, don't put your money on this fight. And they were like, why? Canelo's going to wash this guy. I said to my cousin, I said, who's saying Canelo's going to wash this guy? Put him on the phone right now. Put him on the phone right now. And I'm just like, listen, don't get it twisted. Y'all know Canelo because he's famous. Bivol is an Olympian. Bivol got 300 amateur fights. Bivol's already a world champion I think when he won it, he was 16-0. So imagine only having 16 fights and being a world champion. There's a reason for that. The guy's pedigree is not a scrub pedigree.
Yeah.
And then I said, there's weight classes for a reason. Canelo, when Canelo first fought at 175, it wasn't a legit 175 fight. It was a 175 fight, but he put a rehydration clause in the Kovalev fight. So as you know, we weigh in the day before the fight.
Yeah.
And then we can rehydrate to whatever we want. Canelo put a rehydration clause in for the Kovalev fight. So Kovalev couldn't rehydrate to his full. So for me, that's
how do they control that?
Because when you're the A side, when you're the A side guy,
yeah,
you control the ring size, you control what gloves you wear, you control the location of the fight. You're in the driver's seat.
I'm saying,
if Floyd were to come out of retirement today, and let's say he's going to fight Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence, guess what? Floyd's telling you the date. Floyd's telling you the location. Floyd's telling you the venue. Floyd's telling you the gloves. Floyd's telling you the ringside. Floyd's even going to tell you what you're going to get paid, and you're going to like it. Don't even counter offer.
Yeah.
Hey, don't even counter offer, Floyd. Guess what? You're getting 80-20. You're going to end up with $20 million. Take it or leave it.
I accept.
And that's just what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And that's most guys do, that's more money than most guys will ever see or whatever. So when you're, so you have obviously your C-list guys, your B-list guys, your A-list guys, your elite level guys, but then you have your stars. And the reason why I put stars above elite is because elite, even though the elite fighters might be better than some of the stars, the elite fighters aren't necessarily marketable or ticket sellers or household names.
Yeah.
Bivol, for example, he's an elite fighter, but I wouldn't put him as a star because he doesn't have that name. He can't call those kind of shots. Even when Canelo exercises the rematch clause, Bivol will still be treated as the B-side fighter. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's Canelo that's the draw.
Yeah.
So, I tell people, if you can market yourself, like Jake Paul, perfect example. Not even a really legit fighter, but he's the A-side guy when it comes to the negotiation tables. So
yeah, the money.
For me, I was just telling guys, listen, don't sleep. Bivol's elite. There's weight classes for a reason. There's no rehydration clause in this fight. So this guy can blow up back to heavyweight if he really wants to, and this is going to be a legit fight, So I 100%, I'm not knocking Canelo at all. He actually gained a fan in that fight. He never went down, never got knocked out, fought it out to the end. Actually, the first few rounds, he was pressing the action. He looked like he had Bivol nervous in the first 4. He was throwing some bombs. Then Bivol just, did what he does, because at the end of the day, that kind of power would have put a 154 to sleep.
I was going to say,
it would have put a 160 to sleep. It might have put a 168 to sleep, but it ain't going to put a light heavyweight to sleep. Now that heavy-handed power, that the advantage that you have at those weight classes, you're just the average guy at my weight class because your power is just like everyone else's.
Right.
but I got more skill than you. So
Yep.
that's what that became, you know? But I still respect it. I love it. I love it for the sport. He's still undisputed at 168. So guess what? Even if he decides to not fight at 175, he goes back to 168. He still has all the belts at 168. But
Right.
I think the reason why I like the loss is because I think that loss now forces him to have to fight. He can't fight a bum. He has to fight someone good now to prove that he's still at the top level, which opens up the door for the other Charlo brother. It opens up the door for Boo Boo Andre. It opens up the door for Benavides and, you know, and those guys. So
Yeah.
I think it was a win-win situation for boxing, you know, and people learned, stop going after the name. It's not about the household name. There's a bunch of hidden gems that you guys don't know about that will beat your favorite fighter.
Yep.
Look at Jermaine Ortiz. Jermaine Ortiz will scrape your favorite fighter.
So what is he into right now? What I don't know a lot about his opponent, but did he take this fight on short notice?
Jamal Herring is a fucking dog. He's a world champion.
They
He's a
have the
world
same
champion at
frame.
130. He just fought Shakur Stevenson.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had just fought Shakur Stevenson. So most of the competitions at 135. That's where the Ryan Garcias are at, the Devin Haney's are at, the Tank Davises are at, Vasyl Lomachenko. All those big names are at 35. So when Herring lost his belt, he lost his world championship belt to Shakur Stevenson at 130. There was nothing for him there. You know, who's my next big fight there? You know, Shakur Stevenson was the biggest draw there. So it was like, all right, I might as well move to 135, you know? And the fight fell on Jermaine's lap.
Jermaine wins this fight. What's possible next? Like what fights are possible? What names?
So it's still a lose. It's a win-lose situation for Jermaine. So, in my personal opinion, right? Because my word is not law here. You know, I'm just going off of just what I know.
Here on this podcast, your word is law. It's ours.
So, Jamel's not a champion anymore because he moved up to another division, even though he's a world championship caliber fighter. If Jermaine dismantles him, even if Jermaine just beats him, even if it's a close fight and Jermaine just beats him, Jamel's not a world champion. But you just showed that you can beat a world champion. So now the other guys, he's going to be like Demetrius Andre. You're good enough to be a world champion, but because you're not a household name, you're not a huge name. Hopefully, what I'm praying for is this fight makes him a household name. So maybe then Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, all those guys will call him out. But I think it's going to make them more scared of him.
Which is bad.
Because when you're the world champion and you're the moneymaker, you call the shots. I don't want to fight Jermaine Ortiz. I want to fight Richard Comey. I don't want to fight Jermaine Ortiz. I want to fight fucking who's the random African dude that Ryan Garcia just fought? Mbuku, whatever his fucking name was. Like, they can make those kind of decisions.
Yeah.
So I just think that it hurts him because he's gonna show I'm a world championship level fighter, household name or not. But now these guys are like, I can lose to this. Like, all right, Devin Haney and George Kambosos are fighting, right? Both of them can be like, I can lose to this Jermaine Ortiz guy for $500,000, or I can lose to Devin Haney and make $2 million.
Yeah.
You know, it's risk versus reward because these guys know they're in risks, but it's about which is the better reward.
Yeah.
If I'm in an easy win, fuck it, I'll take the easy win. But if I'm in a tough fight and I had to choose between who I would rather lose to, do I want to lose to, let's say, Ryan Garcia, who I'll only get $1 million for, or do I want to lose to Vasyl Lomachenko, who I'll get $10 million for?
Yeah.
Or do I want to lose to Gervonta Tank Davis, who I'll get $20 million for?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Tank Davis.
And then what works against Jermaine too, there's no possibility for anybody to hate that dude. He's such a nice kid. There's no hate. He's not. It's like
and it's just not him to be
right.
outward and you know where his bread and butter will be is that he's pretty and he hey no shade.
We get it. Yeah, we get it. Yeah, he's a statue.
I don't want to say that. I don't want to say it because I don't want anyone to feel offended. But no, you know what? He's a pretty dude. He could easily make money on endorsements, being GQ magazine, Hanes underwear model. You know, that will be his bread and butter because he's not a talkative guy.
Yeah.
But where I think the smartest move for him would be go to 140, but before those other guys go to 140. So Josh Taylor just got stripped of one of his belts because he refused to fight somebody. Josh Taylor, from what I had heard, is moving up to 147. So he's going to end up vacating all the belts that he has because he has, I think, all of them. He beat Regis Prograis for all of them. And once he vacates, what I think the smarter move would be is if Jermaine goes to 140 before all those other guys do, and Jermaine snags himself a belt, now when those big names from 35 eventually move up to 40, you got no choice but to go through me, motherfucker. Yeah. Who are you going to go through? You want a belt? Come see Papa. Come see me. You got no choice. Who are you going to fight? You're going to come to 140 and fight a bunch of challengers? I got the belt.
Yep.
It's either going to be me or Regis Prograis. Who are you going to fight? So that's what I would do. Like Gervonta Davis, right? There was at the time at 140, it was Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor, and Barrios were the three champions at 140. Gervonta went from 130 to 140, beat the worst of those three, which was Barrios, and then went back down. So, you know, why not that be Jermaine, you know?
Yep.
I think that would be the smartest move for him. Because those guys are going to move up soon anyway, you know? Most of the big names that Jermaine has fought are either bigger than him or at the same weight class. So, for example, he fought Teofimo Lopez, who is 135 on the verge of moving up to 140. He's fought Jaron Ennis, who is 147, about to fight for world championships at 147. He's fought Gary Russell, who's 140. You know, he's fought, all the guys he's fought are bigger than him already. You know, they're already at those higher weight classes. So that goes to show you how much he's dedicating himself to just trying to prove he belongs at 35, which no point. If you got to go through Jamel Herring, who's not a slouch, just to get a world championship fight, then who else you going to have to go through, you know?
Right.
That's a tough, that Jamel Herring could be a world championship fight at any other weight class besides 35, because 135 is so stacked, you know? But that's a tough guy to go through to have to get to the championship fight.
Yeah, I was looking at their weigh-in picture today, and their frame is identical. He's a little bit taller. I mean, Jermaine's a little bit shorter, but they're exactly the same. It should be. Looks like it's gonna be a good fight.
Oh yeah, and Jamel is one of the first ever active duty Marines that fought in the Olympics.
Well, I didn't know that.
So he had a good amateur career too. He was in the 2012 Olympics in London.
Okay.
So that's why he reps the Semper Fi on his trunk. So he's an active duty Marine. How
did it seemed like Jermaine got this fight on short notice. So it seemed like, I mean,
yeah, kind of. So I mean, luckily for Jermaine, he lives by the whole like if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Like Jermaine out of shape has a 6-pack. Jermaine in shape has a 10-pack. No, it's really that serious. Like this dude looks like a Greek god, you know. So, for him, it was Top Rank trying to get a rebound fight for Jamel. They asked Richard Comey for the fight, who was a world champion. Richie Comey didn't want the fight with Jamel. They asked a Mexican guy who was a good fighter for the fight. He was having visa issues. Next best guy was Jermaine. And Jermaine was next up, and he took it. And
I give him credit because it seemed like it was like that, and bam, he's fighting already. That's pretty quick. But man, I think we need a big W on him. We need this. We need more.
He's earned it. He deserves it.
Yeah.
He's put in so much work into his craft. He invested in himself. There's a lot of fighters, especially early in their career, especially when they're not making big money, that don't make the necessary sacrifices. But Jermaine believes so much in himself that he's made those sacrifices. He pays for the cryotherapy. He pays for the strength and conditioning. He pays for all the necessary things that got him to this point.
Yeah.
Most guys don't start paying for that stuff until they're at this point. He's doing it. He's been doing it. So that's somebody who's like, I'm going to invest this short-term stuff in me to get the long-term back, So
I dig it.
I love it. I respect it. It'll be a great fight. And you know what? It'll prove. It'll prove what we've been saying all along. This guy, like I said, if he wasn't moving up to 135, he would be a world champion at 130,
Yep.
The only, big loss he had at 130 was Shakur Stevenson, which, Shakur Stevenson was a fucking Olympian. Shakur Stevenson, matter of fact, I know like 3 or 4 people that were at the Colorado Training Center because they made the national team. And they all 3 or 4 people told me they knew from like when they saw Shakur at like 14, 15 years old that they knew. Like everyone in the gym knew this kid was fucking different. Like he would spar guys way heavier than him. He would just hit the bag. He was just different. His IQ was different. Everything about him.
Bobby Harris the third was saying that he was picking him pound for pound list when he was on with us.
Yeah, Bobby was actually one of those people who, when he made the national team, he was at the Colorado Training Center. So when you make the national team, though, that's the team the United States is picking to go to the Olympics. So you beat everybody in your weight class nationally. You go to the Colorado Training Center, and you all, Damarni, when Bobby was there, Damarni Rock was there, Shakur Stevenson was there. There's like a Mexican female, I forgot her name. She was there. Clarissa Shields was there, and he was telling me like, this dude was like 126 at the time, fucking getting in the ring with dudes like 160. Outboxing him.
Yep. What's on deck for Bobby?
Bobby, man, I'm excited.
Big one?
Early. So Bobby has always been one of those people who things came easy to him in boxing. Like he's one of those naturally gifted fighters.
Yep. And
he's been on the podcast and he said, when I was younger, I didn't take boxing serious. It was just something that I was just good at, So early in his career, to this day, if I could find the video, I would show it. I think Bobby won the fight 3 out of the 4 rounds. Maybe 4 out of the 4, but I gave him 3 out of the 4. But the judges gave it a draw early in his career. Bobby actually beat the guy's brother on his pro debut.
Right.
Yeah, he beat the guy's brother on his pro debut. So, long story short, he gets a draw. It kind of fucked with him mentally, and it just wasn't the same for a while. But he's back in. He's dedicated. He's a grown ass man now. He knows this boxing shit's not a game. This, at the pro level, it don't matter how much skill I got. If these guys come more ready than me, I could be in for a fight. It's not the same as like in the amateurs. So he's just different mentally. He's different physically. He's smarter. And he wants to redeem himself. He wants to show that draw that I got early in my career. I'm about to win this fight.
Yep.
In obvious fashion. So that's gonna be a good fight, tough fight. Saul's tough.
I love it. I thought that I don't know that guy that tried to take his head off at the Palladium that last time, man. That's where he might have been like, all right, we got to do this. Gotta stay dedicated.
I think that fight for me gave me more confidence in him than anything. Like,
yeah,
because I mean that dude was significantly bigger, significantly stronger. Like, Bobby had to muscle that shit out. Most guys get cut, they're like walking away from the ring. Like, I can't see, I'm not doing this shit.
Yeah.
And he muscled it out. And then after that fight, he went on a 2-fight knockout streak. So now he's starting to learn, in the amateurs, you're on your toes a lot, you pity pat, you kind of just try to land and score points. In the pros, you can't do that. You got to sit on your punches. I've been stressing him that for like years now. And in the last couple fights, we've seen him sit on his punches, which is why he's got 2 first-round stoppages.
Yep. He's been real good.
He's starting to turn into his shots. That last left hook that he turned into, that shit was like, he turned into that shit, like, boom. As opposed to, back in the days, he might have just threw it almost like a slap.
Yeah.
Because he's fast. So he's all about just scoring points. Pop, 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 boom. Pop, 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 boom. Now he's starting to sit on his. So it's going to be a real good fight for him. Good rematch. Guy that you got to draw with. That's the closest thing to a loss you've ever come close to, is a draw. So he's going to redeem himself.
I can't wait to see it. And is Popeye here? Is he
Popeye is in.
Dude, it's crazy.
Popeye's opponent was a WBC Latino champion. Popeye's opponent had, I'm going to tell you right now, right? So Popeye's opponent has 39 wins, 33 by knockout, and was a WBC Latino champion. And he had beaten a 21-5 guy. He had beaten a 25-7 guy. He had beaten a 34-16 guy, a 32-15 guy. He had beaten a 29-0 guy, and he had beaten a 22-0 guy, all by stoppages. So he's catching guys, And then he fought former world champion Lucian Bute. Okay. Lucian Bute was 20-0 at the time, and they fought. The fight got stopped in the 11th round. So he fought 11 out of 12 rounds against Lucian Bute. So this guy it's a good fight for Popeye. He's ranked number 1 in his country. And he's ranked number 154 in the world.
I can't wait, man. I'll tell you, Richie, I think he's probably my favorite fighter to watch when they smell blood. Because his instinct is like that. And I think there was a few fights in Springfield where it was like, man, just go. Get mad, smell blood. I've never seen Richie miss it. He as soon as it happens, he's going. Yeah. And the only way it stops is the bell. Or they got knocked out.
So I take responsibility for his last fight. I feel like I fucked him up. I feel like he could have stopped the guy in the first round. But so we had an opponent at 168. That opponent caught COVID. Then we had an opponent at 193. That opponent couldn't get his medicals. Then we had an opponent at 185. His wife ended up in the hospital. Then we ended up with this opponent at 175. So if you think about the weight fluctuation, within one training camp, within a couple weeks,
right?
I probably dehydrated the kid. I probably fucked him up bad, I mean, he still won 3rd round stoppage. He still was never hurt in the fight. He still never looked like he was in danger. But he probably could have did the guy dirty in the first round.
I'm laughing because I know if we ask him right now, he'd be like, I don't give a fuck. Who's next? Well, Well, wait.
Yeah.
Whatever, don't matter. He does not care. He
doesn't.
care. It's
he doesn't.
awesome.
I had to save him from him last fight. This dude was trying to fight like a 30-5 heavyweight. I'm like, Richie, he's a fucking heavyweight. I don't care. He's a bum. Richie, he's fought world champions already. They were bums too.
Yeah.
I'm like, Richie, I am not letting you fight at heavyweight. No.
The thing about it, he believes. He ain't kidding.
No, I know, and I'm not knocking him. He probably could have won that fight, but I was just like, no. At this stage, he's 30 wins, 4 losses. He's a legit heavyweight. I'm not doing it, bro. I'm not approving this fight. Said, come on. I'm like, no. Sorry, Richie. We're gonna find you somebody else. You're gonna fight at 175 where you belong.
I can't wait to see him. I cannot wait to see him.
It's gonna be a great fight. That one's gonna be a great fight. Who else? Kyrie Todd, back out of retirement.
Unretired.
Tom Brady.
The only man ever to play Madden while being interviewed on this show. I love it. I love it, man. When he retired, I was like, oh man, I didn't even get a chance to see him fight, But that was funny. The next day, he was like, nah, I'm back. All right, let's go.
He was like, wait. He was like, no, his post was like, Tom Brady unretired. So did I.
yeah, exactly.
It was like a month later too.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, if that was scripted, then he knew Tom Brady somehow was retiring when he said that. I was like, come on, man. I think I can't wait to see him fight. I think he's got a little bit of attitude in him. I think.
Yeah, he's a dog.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna he's good. I know what he's capable of. I'm not gonna take it easy with him. His first fight back, he's gonna fight for a championship. His first championship.
Love it.
I believe in him. I know the kind of dog he is. I know the skill set he possesses. I've witnessed it with my own eyes. Against another not no baby. Like it's one thing to look good against some like scrub, but he fought another tough, young, undefeated in his prime fighter. And I saw what he can do. And I was like, you know what, bro? Let's not waste time. Let's go straight for a championship fight. We'll get a USBF title or a New England title. And we'll keep it rocking from there. Get this ring rust off because you've been out the ring for a while. And we'll take it from there. We'll keep grinding. So he's like, all right, cool. I'm with it.
Love it. Love it, man. He was a good guest, man. He was there's some fire in him. I like it. I haven't seen him fight yet, but I'm looking forward to that. We have any Whitleys on the card?
No. So Derek is signed with a promoter. His promoter is gonna obviously have different things for him. He's Massachusetts state champion now.
I know Denzel's already got 2 or 3 fights planned.
Denzel's got like 2 or 3 fights booked already. I'm gonna save Roland for when we go back to Springfield. Our next pending potential date is in September. So,
I dig it.
But we do have a Springfield guy, 2-0 Isaiah Cruz.
Okay. Well, I don't know. We already have these guys on the pod. We need new people. You gotta start throwing 2 or 3 cards down a week. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, no. So I'll get Isaiah on. It'll be my first time formally meeting Isaiah. I'm gonna get Kendrick's opponent on.
Okay.
We'll get our normal guys back on as well. We actually have a guy making history too. We have a 53-year-old who wants to be the oldest man to turn pro.
Oh boy. Am I up?
Yeah, Mike, you're not 53.
I'm 43 still. Whatever.
He's 53. He's 53 years old. He's got a he fights amateur boxing, so he's not like new to this. He actually won the the nationals for his age group, the Masters. And he wants to unfortunately, praying for him and his family. His father has 5 months to live. So that's what he wants to do it for. He wants to be not only the oldest person to have a pro debut, but he wants to do this pro fight for his father.
That's awesome. That's how well we got to get that dude on. Let's get him some sport. We'll get him the spotlight. That's a good story. I like that. Love it.
What better way for, Rivera Promotions helps guys live their dreams out. It started with Wilfredo, who wanted just one fight. Now this dude's about to be a New England champion,
A poor kid, man, when he was walking away from there, he just looked at me so disappointed and was like, it's just not meant to be. I said, nah, Wilfredo looked good.
But here's the thing. And I tell guys this. Can't sleep on records. You can't sleep on opponents. You have to fight everybody like they're a world championship fighter. Now, I told Wilfredo, had you fought him the way you fought Carlos, you knocked this guy out.
Yeah.
But you went in there face first, slugging. You both got caught with shots. You both headbutted each other. And that's what happened.
Yeah. Sad. Real sad. But we'll see him again. We'll definitely.
Now that guy doesn't even want a rematch with him.
Really?
I mean, that first shot that they called the headbutt, Wilfredo landed that punch clean. That first too, boom, boom. And I think that dude was like, I talked to his trainer. He said, nah, it's either got to be 135 or 140. He told me straight up. He's like, we're not doing 47.
Yeah.
So Wilfredo scared him out of a weight class.
Yeah, great.
He was like, nah. He was like, nah, this Puerto Rican old man hit me with something I ain't never been hit with before. I'm taking my ass back down to 135.
So listen to this. This is so funny that I heard this from the crowd. Wilfredo comes down. I love you, Wilfredo, but this is awesome. The Joyner Lucas decoy, the dude who looked like Joyner with Joyner that was there, who was yelling and everything. He's like, yo, somebody come get their grandfather. Who's this guy with the gray dude? I was crying, laughing, like, oh, you don't know, but it was funny to see those dudes back there, man.
It's funny because a lot of people were laughing when they first saw the Mexican dude. He looked all pudgy and shit, but those laughs turned into, when he started banging, and then he started like at one point they're banging, and then he actually backs up and he tells Wilfredo, come on.
Yep.
And I'm like, yo, I told y'all, stop sleeping on these dudes because of how they look.
That's some of my favorite action when that happens, man, when they're fighting and then someone gets hit and they're like, all right, I'm good. Or, like, hey, nice hit. That happens, like, it's fun to watch. Like, that's respect in the ring, But I also like seeing the tear-ass people mad, just getting at it. I don't know. That was a great night of fights, man. That whole entire night was awesome. There wasn't one. Man, I called it. First round knockout. No love, Jake Paradise. Team No Love came in. Good performance. Hopefully.
He weathered the storm pretty well. I was impressed, because when I looked over, he got hit with I think it was like a 3-punch combo. Werwington hit him with a couple clean shots. Jake shielded up and then came right back. And I tell people, man, and the pros, forget the head. That body is unforgiving. Shit, that body hurts. That shit is paralyzing. The head, you might get shaken up, but you can recover from the head. The body takes a while. And Jake was like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to throw this bazooka at your body and see if you recover from this.
That video that I put out there, Jake moved out of the way and that shot was accurate. That wasn't like a wild punch.
No. It was accurate. He hit him so that soloplex area is it's like right here.
Yeah.
So when Jake backed up and he threw overhand right, but he threw it right into the body, right below his pec.
Yeah.
It looked like it was going to hit him in the chest, but it hit him right below the chest.
Yep.
And that dude, mind you, that dude lasted longer with Hightower.
Yep. There's no negativity tonight. I'm not gonna dog Wootton at all. You know, I wanted to, but
no, but whether we dog him or not, Wereworton landed a couple haymakers on Joey or Hightower before Hightower was like, all right, now I'm gonna fuck you up.
Oh yeah, Hightower's back, right? He's back.
Yep, he's back too.
That's phenomenal. That kid's been putting in some work. Different countries and shit he's fighting. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's international. He's a big star. He's a big star now.
Yep.
Lil Hightower, he is crazy because he was like, he's the youngest guy in the gym, but he was bigger than all of us.
He is such a good dude too, man.
Lil Hightower is now international. He's too good for us now. It's great, man. I love it though. I love it. Love to see it. Great manager, great team. He's doing his thing, you know. He's fought in Colombia, he's fought in DR. You know, boxing takes kids that came from nothing, places they never would have imagined.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Yep, absolutely, man.
A kid that without boxing would have never left Worcester.
A little known fact, he was the very first boxing podcast we did.
There you go.
Very first one ever.
You know, and then with some boxing experience, you know, he's been to Tennessee, he's been to Florida, he's been to Connecticut.
Columbia.
So
Columbia with Big Nate. Big Nate's team has been quite, I think, Angel Gonzalez.
Yep.
He's taking a little time off. He is?
Yep.
Set it off, right? I know he's got to be what, 10-0 now?
Yeah, he's like 10-0, yeah. He'll be going for 11.
So that's good shit. Good shit.
Good shit.
AJ, my man, go to bed. You've been yawning. It's time, my man.
What? Nah, I'm not yawning. I'm chilling. I got a question though. I didn't know that I thought what me and you do here, I thought that we highlight young, undiscovered prospects.
I
thought that's what we do. You know, anyone who's been watching all our episodes, I thought we brought, you know, not only do we talk about them, but we actually bring them on the show.
We do.
Those undiscovered, young, undefeated guys. You know, we've had Richie, Bobby, Anwell, Oscar, Joey, Jake, Wilfredo, Carlos. I mean, this list can go on forever.
Denzel,
you know, I thought that's what we do, but I had heard different recently. I had heard that there's only one podcast that does this.
Hey, don't forget, we're the only channel out there that does this. But we're gonna use a clip from this other channel that does it. That's the only thing that made me angry. I was like, wait.
And then the comment was like, oh, you know, when you left your comment, it was like, oh, let us know if you have any other clips. And, you know, we haven't seen anyone that's bringing we haven't. Okay, so you haven't seen anyone? Bet. So now I'm going to send you a bunch of YouTube links and show you.
He's a member of my YouTube channel. Every week he gets a notification of another channel that does it, that gives him ideas. You know, and I don't care about competition. I wouldn't dog anyone. But
yeah, competition is one thing, but so here my issue, and I'm not confrontational. I'm as smooth as they come. My issue is, the first issue is you lied and said you're the only one doing it. Secondly, you're using your content. You're using another person's content while saying you're the only person doing this. And blocking out your logo that's on the video. Like, bro, there's no way. You're finding these videos, you're finding these people through this man's content. So how are you going to sit here and tell people you're the only ones doing it? You're talking, you're reading from, I mean, I might have looked at my phone for a text message, but this whole conversation is organic. I don't sit here, I got to sit here and be like, yeah, this man is 10-0. He's from Springfield.
Holy Oak. Like he didn't even know. I'm just saying, it was just very, you know.
We've had Denzel on this show. Holla at us.
I can't wait to put that video out there of him next to me commentating.
You talk about these fighters, and we have these fighters on the show. There's levels to this, respectfully.
Right. I mean,
respectfully, there's levels to this. Just don't be claiming something you're not. It's all good. We'd appreciate a little shout out. Maybe we'll give you a shout out. I'm not gonna say your podcast name. You don't deserve it.
Right. Yeah, I agree 100%.
Stay in the den.
I 100% I agree. I was like, this is nuts, dude. I didn't even go to bed. I stayed up making that video. I was like, I can't let this happen. I can't. You know what I mean?
When I saw the video, I was driving. I was driving in the morning time. I was like, threw my phone on my passenger seat. Threw my phone on my passenger seat. I'm done with this shit. This is just, I can't deal with this shit.
Yeah,
I can't. This is too early. Too early for me to be in a mood.
Way too early for this. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, you got to be kidding me. But you know what? Yeah, like I said, I mean, yeah, I just get angry because I'm the one putting in the time. Leave my logo up there. That's my video. I sat there all night long next to Bob Trigger, taking those videos, getting dogged.
But it wasn't. You know what's crazy is? It wasn't one episode where they used your video.
Right.
Quentin Sumter on my show. So you're gonna sit there like, and no shade, no hate towards anything else, but you're shouting out another promotion company, talking about another promotion company,
right?
Talking about this specific fighter, blocking out your logo and not even mentioning the show that he fought on.
Yeah, and that was in my head too, but I didn't want to incite a riot. Like I didn't want to like try to stir you up. I like.
No, that's what I said. I'm like, okay, so just ignore the fact that he fought on a Rivera Promotions Entertainment show. Right. And the clip that you're specifically using was on that show.
Yep.
It's not like, okay, if you didn't mention it because the clip you used was from another person's show, you're using a clip from my show and using a clip from your podcast. You know,
I'll tell you, man.
I'm just an assistant. This is Mike's podcast.
Oh,
the podcast
God. Yeah, right.
I'm an intern. I'm an intern.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love it. And you know what I mean? It was boring, too. Like, step your game up, fellas. Anybody can just read off a phone. That's not entertainment. That's not entertainment.
Yeah, it's like, you read off a phone, you're giving obvious facts, but it's like, if I could give advice, even if you can't get the fighter on there, really get into depth, into detail. Don't state the obvious. Like, and don't say things that make you sound dumb. No disrespect. Quentin Sumter is a great fighter. Quentin Sumter is very light on his feet, athletic guy. But to say he's big, he's a big guy for the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
How can you say that when you have Tyson Fury, who's 6'9", Deontay Wilder, who's 6'7", Anthony Joshua, who's 6'6", Cassius Chaney, who's 6'6". He's not a big heavyweight. He's more of like a Mike Tyson kind of heavyweight.
Right.
He's undersized. He's very athletic. They were correct when they said he's good on his feet. You know, he packs a big punch. He's going to slump you out. But don't be like, oh, he's a big guy. He's a big guy to the average guy like me and you. But he ain't a big guy for the heavyweight division.
No. Nope.
So now you sound crazy to the boxing fans.
Right.
Not even just to, like, general public might be like, oh, yeah, I'm eating this up. But if you're going to try to get to the boxing fans, sound a little bit more educated.
Yep. Get creative. Get creative. Do your own
Get creative. Do your thing, but sound a little bit more educated. You know,
yeah.
Don't state the obvious. You're going to show a highlight reel of Denzel knocking somebody out with a right hand and be like, this guy's got a great right hand. No shit.
Nah,
I wouldn't have guessed.
Myself, I would have gladly shared that. If that was just Denzel's interview, if he was on that show and it was all legit, I'm loving it. And you promote everybody. If that's your dude, it don't matter who interviews him in an honest way.
And then back scratch backs. You know, you share our stuff, we share your stuff.
Right.
Our audience knows about our audience knows about you. Your audience knows about us. Cool. But I just can't get down with the fraudulent stuff. You know, the non-organic stuff, man. It just, y'all looked uncomfortable sitting there even talking about it. Like,
Exactly. And I made that video, and then I changed my profile picture to me with the belt on, because that says it all.
Podcast champ.
The New England podcast champ. I still technically the belt is still mine.
Unless they want to dethrone you.
Oh yeah, no, that's Oscar's belt. That's right. Wilfredo fought for a.
Yeah. Well, it's Oscar's belt now, but technically you're still a podcast champion. So
I feel
if
like
we're gonna be technical here, somebody's got to dethrone you.
It ain't gonna be either of those guys. I'll tell you that right now. It don't matter. I love it. I love it.
I mean, shit. In this day and age, like it's how can I say it? It's easy to produce stuff, but it's not easy to produce like just organic, real stuff. Like just it's you know, for me it was not just one thing, not just you saying you're the only ones doing it, multiple videos. And by the way, we're the only ones doing it. No, you're not. Secondly, you don't know enough about these guys. You're using content from another podcast,
right,
and then you're stating the obvious off of one video. You know, get a little bit more into detail, where they're from, their amateur background, who they are, what they like, you know, things like that, and then know what you're talking about. You know, how you gonna call Quentin Sumter a big guy? And like I said, I'm not being disrespectful to Quentin. Quentin is, first of all, when I dealt with him, super respectful, super professional, trainer, super respectful, super professional. The kid can clearly crack. He does pack a punch. There's no denying that. He is you could tell, like, you know what? And I don't know enough about him, but if I had to guess, I would say he was a football player at one point in time, turned boxer, because he has athletic footwork for that size.
Yeah.
You know, but when you look
that was a good fight too.
When you look at legit heavyweights, though, he's not a big guy. Like I said, Tyson Fury 6'9".
Right.
Oh, Deontay Wilder 6'7". Anthony Joshua 6'6". Cash Cheney 6'6". Fucking Donnie Palmer's fucking 6'10", 7 feet. Local Donnie Palmer from Boston.
He's fighting again soon, I believe.
So, but you know what I'm saying? Like, for that division, he would be considered what Mike Tyson was. Quentin is literally Mike Tyson. Not the exact skill set. I'm saying he's literally like same body build, same size, same like Mike Tyson was. I think he was, if I'm not mistaken, it's either him or Rocky Marciano that would be the shortest heavyweight champions ever. You know?
I like it, my man. So, I mean, I'm glad you brought it up. I'm glad those guys commented. Like I said, we're not going to say their names. They don't deserve it. So, but they're not. We are the podcast champs. You can be a tag team, my man. That's how we got to duplicate that belt. This is what we do, and have been doing it. That's the craziest shit ever, though. Like, because it sounds like up and coming boxes, bro. We're here. Like that's what we.
Not only like this is probably the first podcast we've done in a while where we're just by ourselves.
Right.
Talking legit boxing, just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
You know, we're not just highlighting these guys. These guys are on the show.
Yep. I don't know.
Anwell was one of the best that we've had. You know, Richie was one of the best that we've had. Bobby, you know, these guys are on the show. Not only are we highlighting them, we're giving them an opportunity to highlight themselves.
Right.
We're matching a face. We're matching a face with the name.
Right.
You know, we're not stealing YouTube's videos and posting them. You know, you're blatantly blocking out logos, bro. That's whack.
It's bullshit.
Keep the logo up. Keep this. You see the logo on the background. Keep that shit up. When you see a video and you're gonna use it on your content, keep that logo there.
That's right. Yep.
If not, just block me because I'm gonna start spamming you.
We have a squad.
Get me fired up. I want all the smoke.
All the smoke. I'm in. I'm definitely in. AJ, it's been another good one, my man. Another good one, I think. Anything else you want to cover?
Now, just July 15th. Be there, be square. Worcester Palladium. Get there early. Don't blink. Have your popcorn ready. This is going to be a legit fight, legit show, legit fighters, up and coming, already established, all of it.
How many
The
seats
boxers,
in the Palladium?
The brawlers. We're going to see,
How many seats in the Palladium?
For a concert, it's a little over 3,000. For a boxing fight, it's between like 2 and 2,500.
How many were at 14? I mean, not 14. New England 7.
We had 19.
There's a lot of people there. That place is filled. So
Now, and we're on pace right now to. Me and my dad don't have ringsides anymore.
really,
Don't holler at us for ringsides. The fighters have them. Like it's crazy. Like these tickets are gone. Like these fighters have them and they're pushing and they're doing their thing. Like
yep.
It's gonna be a crazy show. Our main event, best main event you could possibly have.
Yep.
In New England. I mean, if I had to say what would compare, would be when Angel Camacho fought Rich Gingras. The guy that Kendrick is fighting.
Okay.
When he was young and up and coming, he fought that established New England vet.
Yep.
And it was a great fight. They banged. Like it was a very close fight, and it was nuts. And that was probably the closest thing to it, in New England, main event caliber wise, like what you have here. I mean, you got 18-1, you got 16-0. Both legit, both bad to the bone. Then you got Popeye 21-0 versus fighter 39-10, 33 knockouts. You got Bobby rematching a guy that he got a draw with. You got Anwell fighting a tough.
I want Bobby Harris versus this Berlanga guy. I love it that everybody wants to kick this guy's ass, but Bobby was the first one to say it. So
yeah, you know what though? That timing is everything. We're gonna make our moves on our time, because when it comes to the time that we get to that negotiation table with Berlanga, I don't care what you got going on. I don't care what champion you are. I don't care who's backing you up. Bobby backs his shit up too. So you're gonna come to us 60-40, 50-50. You're not gonna bully us into 80-20, 70-30. You're not gonna dictate the size of the ring. You're not gonna dictate the gloves. We're gonna when we come to that stepping stone and when we come to that Berlanga table, it's gonna be because we made our moves while you were making yours, and we got something to back it up as well.
I think anybody can have a bad night, but he didn't look good the last when I saw him fight this last one. His walkout was A1, but out of the crowd with Fat Joe, I want to see Kendrick do something like that. Or we'll get to that. Oh, Popeye his walkout is the best.
I mean, Joyner was at the last show. That was pretty fresh, and Popeye and Kendrick had a pretty fresh walkout.
Yeah, it was awesome. The
Joyner, he had like the Joyner remixes and shit.
Yep.
Yeah, Cito was there.
Cito did the walkout video. He did the one that I used. He came out. He was like in the back room. That video is like 14 minutes long of them just waiting to come out. And then, but badass. He walked out badass. I love it. You can't go wrong with DMX intro. Everybody should walk out to it. Like if there's 12 fights.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. But the DMX intro came last. It was like a bunch of Joyner songs mixed together, and then DMX intro came. Yeah. So that was fresh,
Love it, man. I'll tell you. Rivera Promotions, celebrities coming out. Everybody. I mean, it's growing. It's growing. I keep telling people, this is what I mean.
We're still young. We're still young, and the most important part is like, from talking to guys, fighters genuinely want to be here. Fighters genuinely want to fight for us. Fighters genuinely, want, like, we don't force, nobody's in contract.
Yeah. I listen, I talk to these guys here and there, and I've never heard a bad word. And I've heard bad words about other promotion companies and all that.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
not once.
I got a guy that's fighting for me for the very first. I won't say his name. I don't want to blow his spot up. He's been with another promoter his whole career. He's fighting for me for the first time this upcoming fight. And he told me today on the phone, I'm an AJ Rivera Promotions fighter. Fuck out my face. Like, that's it. He's like, that's just what it is. Like,
love it.
Word.
Loyalty is everything, my man. Legit.
Word. Oscar straight up was like, listen, I'm with you to the wheels. Sign me.
Yep.
Sign. Straight. I'm not fighting. Sign me. Like, I'm not. All right.
Yep. Hell yeah. Yep.
So.
Good shit. These guys are great to watch. You got a lot of good. I mean, the stable is strong, man.
I'm excited. This night is going to be electrifying. It's going to be electrifying. Like, legit. Like, there's no other way to explain. Like, you thought that. So, your very first boxing experience was our show at the Palladium.
Yep.
I think this is going to top that.
I can't wait to go back. I love that night. The setup is pretty good. Now, I mean, Springfield is really good, but the Palladium was like, it gets dark in there. The lights are, I love it. It's like a Uber boxing event.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
I love it.
A lot of people love it. A lot of people love it. So we're like, you know what? For New England's Feature 10, we're gonna go back to the home roots.
Love it. It should be a full house too, man. I know that. I know there's no excuses this time. No excuses. So. But AJ, my man, once again, we'll do another one soon. Let's get ready for next week. We'll do it on Wednesday
we'll get ready
night.
for next week. Chop it up. I have some new fresh faces on. We'll talk about the upcoming shows and full steam ahead.
Love it, my man. I'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right.